I didn't even know a laugh could make you feel unemployed. She was on our couch, phone in one hand, the TV flickering in the background, like she was bored inside her own life. I came in from my shift smelling like brake dust and stale coffee, holding that folded paycheck like it was proof I'd survived another week. Madison didn't say hello. She just held her hand out. "Did you get paid?" I handed it over. I told myself it was normal. We lived together. We shared bills. She liked to say she was better with money, so I let her run it. It was easier than arguing, and honestly, I liked the idea that someone believed our future was something you could organize. She opened the stub, scanned it, and her face did this quick twist, like she'd tasted something sour. Then she laughed. Not a nervous laugh, not a "we'll figure it out" laugh. A real laugh. Loud and clean, the kind you hear when someone tells a joke at a bar. My throat tightened. "What?" She held the paper up between two fingers. "Ethan, this is embarrassing." Embarrassing, like my work was a stain. "It's after taxes," I said. "And insurance." I picked up overtime. Madison leaned back. "My friends' boyfriends don't need overtime to breathe." I stood there trying to keep my face calm while something inside me started to peel away. "We're paying rent. We're eating. We're okay." She stared at me like I'd said the dumbest thing in the world. Okay is what people settle for when they're afraid. I remember looking at her mouth, waiting for the softness to come back, waiting for her to say she was kidding. Instead, she dropped the line that changed my whole life. "Numbers don't lie, Ethan. They tell the truth." She said it like a judge reading a sentence, and in that moment I realized she wasn't laughing at a piece of paper. She was laughing at me. That weekend she dragged me to dinner with her friends downtown, one of those places where the menus don't have prices because the prices are supposed to be a flex. Madison looked perfect. I felt like I'd walked in wearing the wrong skin. Her friend Chloe asked about Madison's job, and Madison lit up, talking about campaigns and clients and growth like she was already famous. Then Ryan, Chloe's boyfriend, turned to me with this shiny grin. "So you're still at the shop?" "Yeah," I said. "Lead tech?" He nodded like he was trying to be polite. Man, I could never. I'd feel stuck. Chloe giggled. Madison smiled at him like he'd said something brave. I tried to breathe through it. I tried to swallow the humiliation, but the night kept stacking little moments on top of each other, like bricks. When the check came, Ryan slapped his card down without even looking. Madison didn't reach for her wallet. She never did. She just glanced at me like, "Well?" I paid. Again. On the way home, Madison stared out the window and said, "Do you know how it feels to sit at a table and realize you chose the smallest life?" I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles ached. "I'm trying." She didn't even look at me. Trying isn't a salary. That was the social consequence. Being turned into a comparison. Being the before in her story. The guy she'd upgrade from as soon as she could. The emotional consequence was worse because it followed me home. Every bill made her sigh like I'd personally offended her. If I brought home groceries, she'd scan the receipt. If I sat down after work, she'd ask if I was doing anything to improve. If I mentioned being tired, she'd say, "Tired is for people with options." Then came the financial consequence that almost broke me. One night I opened the mail and saw a credit card statement with my name on it. A card I'd never applied for. A balance that made my stomach drop. I walked into the living room with the paper shaking in my hand. "Madison, what is this?" She glanced at it like it was nothing. "Oh, that." I opened it. "You opened a credit card in my name?" "It's for us," she said. "We needed better furniture, and you need to build credit anyway." I felt my chest go tight. "That's not building credit, that's drowning." Madison scoffed. "You're being dramatic. If you made more, we wouldn't even be talking about this." We fought until my voice went hoarse. At one point, she stood up and said, "Honestly, Ethan, I can't waste my 20s babysitting a man's potential." That line was a punch. Not because it was clever, because it was true. She didn't love who I was. She loved who she thought she could pressure me into becoming. I slept on the couch staring at the ceiling, and that detonator phrase replayed on loop. Numbers don't lie. Fine. If numbers were the truth, I was going to stop letting her use them like a weapon. The next morning, before she woke up, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop and a legal pad. I pulled my bank statements, I pulled our rent history. I pulled my credit report. I made a spreadsheet with columns so simple it almost embarrassed me. Money in, money out, and who caused what. I called the credit card company and froze the account. I filed a fraud report. I changed passwords. I opened a separate bank account. The whole time, my hands were steady. My heart wasn't, but I kept going. When Madison walked in, hair messy, wearing my hoodie like she owned it, she stopped and stared at the papers. "What are you doing?" she asked. I looked up and said calmly, "I'm letting the numbers answer." She blinked. "You're really on this?" "Yes." Madison laughed, softer this time. "Okay, accountant, don't forget to fix my car later." I didn't laugh back. I went to work. And then I started building my exit like it was a second job. I'd always been good with systems. In the shop, you learn fast or you get left behind. I started watching free IT courses on my phone during breaks. At night, I studied while Madison watched reality shows and sighed loudly, like my ambition was bad manners. She kept testing me. "You're obsessed. You're not present. You think a spreadsheet makes you a man?" Then she started doing it in front of people again, because humiliation was her favorite tool. A month later, she hosted drinks with her friends. I was in the bedroom taking a practice test when I heard her voice drift down the hall, casual and cruel. "He's in there," Madison said, doing his little computer thing. "It's cute, honestly, like watching someone try to escape their own life." Laughter. Multiple voices. Not just her. Something in me went very still. I walked into the living room. Everyone froze, cups half raised. Madison's smile tightened, like she'd been caught stealing. I didn't yell. I didn't slam anything. I just asked, "Do you all think it's cute?" No one answered. Madison stood up fast. "Babe, don't..." I held up my phone. "I pulled the statements," I said. "I pulled the rent ledger. I pulled the card you opened in my name. Numbers don't lie, right?" Madison's face went hot. "Not in front of them." "Why not?" I asked. "Because it's embarrassing?" The room went silent in that ugly way silence gets when truth walks in. Her friends left early. Madison didn't even wait for the door to close before she turned on me. "You humiliated me," she said, voice shaking with rage. I stared at her. "You've been doing that to me for months." She stepped closer. "You're acting like you're some hero. You're still broke." And that was my point of rupture, not the insult. The certainty behind it. The way she needed me to stay small so she could feel tall. That night I didn't sleep. I sat with my spreadsheet and did math like my life depended on it, because it did. 2 weeks later, I took my first certification exam and passed. It wasn't dramatic. No confetti. Just an email and a score report that said in plain words that I'd earned something. I printed it and taped it inside a drawer, not on the fridge. I didn't need Madison to see it. I needed me to see it. I applied for entry-level help desk jobs. Rejections came in like spam. I kept going. Then one company called, small and boring and exactly what I needed. The manager asked why a mechanic wanted to work in IT. I said, "Because I'm tired of being told my future is capped." I got the job. The pay wasn't a miracle, but it was a step, a ladder, benefits, a path. More importantly, it was mine. When I told Madison, she didn't celebrate. She nodded like I'd finally caught up to the bare minimum of being worth her time. "Good," she said. "Now keep going." And that's when I knew the finish line would always move for her. A few days later, the fraud dispute came back approved. The debt was removed. My credit score jumped. I felt lighter than I had in months. Madison saw the letter on the counter. "So, it's gone?" she asked, suddenly careful. "It's gone," I said. Her voice softened. "Okay, then we're fine." I looked at her and shook my head. "No, I'm fine." She tried to pivot fast. She cooked dinner. She touched my arm. She said she was proud. It felt like she was reading lines from a script someone else wrote. That weekend, she poured wine and sat across from me like she was setting up a deal. "I've been thinking," she said. "Maybe I was hard on you because I saw your potential. I push you because I care." I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just said, "I signed a lease today." Her mouth fell open. "What?" "A studio," I said. "Near my office. I move next week." Madison's eyes went wide, then sharp. "You can't do that. We live together." I nodded. "We did." Her voice rose. So you're leaving because I wanted more for you. I held her gaze. I'm leaving because you laughed at my paycheck. For a second, she looked like she might actually feel it. Then she reached for anger. Because anger was safer than regret. You're going to regret this, she said. Nobody else is going to put up with you. Maybe a year earlier, that would have crushed me. That night, it sounded like background noise. I packed over the next few days while Madison bounced between begging and threatening. We can fix this. You're throwing away everything. You're selfish. I'm sorry. You're weak. The words changed. The intention didn't. When I finally carried my last box out, she stood in the doorway and said, quieter, "So what now?" I paused and said, "Now I stop paying for a life that keeps telling me I'm not enough." The first night in my studio, I sat on the floor and ate cheap noodles because I didn't own a table yet. The air conditioner rattled. The walls were plain, and it was the most peaceful room I'd ever been in. Over the next year, my world got bigger in small, steady steps. I got better at my job. I earned another cert. I got a raise. I built savings. I paid off what was actually mine. I took my mom to dinner and didn't flinch when the bill came. One afternoon, I ran into Madison near my office. She looked polished but tired around the eyes like someone sprinting on a treadmill. "Ethan," she said, too bright. "Wow, you look good." "Hey," I said. Her eyes dropped to my badge, then back up. "So you did it," she said. "You leveled up." I almost laughed at how she still needed everything to be a ladder. She swallowed. "I've been thinking about you. I'm sorry for how I was." I believe she was sorry in the way some people are sorry when consequences show up. She tried a smile. "Maybe we could catch up. Dinner?" I looked at her and felt something I didn't expect. Nothing sharp, no rage, no craving, just clarity. "You told me numbers don't lie," I said, and they didn't. They showed me exactly what I was paying for. Her eyes filled. "So that's it?" I nodded. "That's it." I walked away, and the bell above the door chimed behind me like a clean ending. Later that night, my paycheck hit my account. I opened the app, saw the deposit, and I didn't feel proud in that desperate way anymore. I felt calm, because the real answer wasn't the money. It was the lesson underneath it. Respect isn't something you earn by shrinking yourself until someone finally approves. It's something you choose to require, even if it costs you a relationship you thought you needed. If this story made you feel something, subscribe. More stories like this are coming.